So every day my day starts with a morning meeting, a status update meeting. And with this week being, holiday times, there's not a lot of people there. So after this meeting, I had an opportunity to basically just sit around and chat with some people. And one of the folks who's known me for 15, 20 years was asking me questions about, if you knew somebody going through a divorce, what would you do, or what would you recommend? And it was an interesting discussion because I started to talk about, my experience and some of the negative parts of it. And as I was basically listening to myself talk, I mean, it's amazing how brutally painful these situations are, how your world is completely ripped upside down. Everything that you thought that you understood, you realize you don't. Who you thought you trust, you can't. Your idea of what is fair is completely shattered in an instant. And it was interesting, right? Because as I was talking about this, I mean, I was thinking about it in the context of, like the content I create for this channel. And I was thinking to myself, if somebody was listening to me talk right now, as I was talking with these folks, it sounds like I'm bitter. I mean, because there's some, I was talking about, how to protect yourself, what, some decisions that you could make to help your situation right from the beginning. And it's hard not to go down that path and think about those times and not have it get irritating. I've seen some comments in some other forums that I follow along the same lines where people are talking about their initial orders and their temporary orders and how some things are really unfair. Like one guy posted a comment that he has full custody of his kids and submitted child support information, and the child support people are taking the money out of his check. They're like, oh, okay, she owes, or the person who owes child support owes $800 or $900 a month, and they took it out of his check. And the guy's freaking out, rightfully so, because he's got full custody of his kids. And now the Child Support Services Department has garnished his wages because they can do that without, they have the ability to do that. And more than likely, the situation is it was a mistake. They probably got the parties confused because typically the guys don't have full custody, and it'll get resolved, but now he's got to jump through these flaming hoops to get it resolved. And it just brought back how frustrating these processes are, how emotionally draining and devastating they are, and how you feel like when you're in the middle of it, you just aren't ever going to get out of it. And I can think back to my situation and how I felt. Some of you guys have asked questions in the past, how does this channel not affect me? Well, the first part about that is most of the people that are on this channel are a little bit different than a lot of the other narcissistic type channels. And I'm really grateful for that, because I think the whole vibe and tone of this channel is just a little bit different, and I appreciate it. And the reason I say that is because when I look at comments like I was looking at with this, and even some of the other narcissistic abuse recovery things, those comments and those situations do sometimes just start to drag me down, because they're just so vicious, and you can see people trapped, and you want to be able to, I'd like to be able just to reach in and just grab that person and just pull them out of that pit of despair, but until someone is ready for it, they're just not able to see it. I think people who are stuck in these situations in a divorce where you're trying to deal with kids, your focus is different. And I think that's the reason. I was trying to think about this the other day, why I think this channel is a little bit different. I think it's because you're not so much focused on yourself, which you are kind of, but you're more focused on how to deal with the situation. So you're not ruminating about so much of, you had an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend or even an ex-wife with no kids, and the marriage is falling apart, and you're mourning, the future, you're in the midst of this fight that doesn't seem to stop. So you don't really have time to deal with that stuff. You're really focusing on what's happening immediately right now, and you're looking for things to make the pain go away a little bit, and tips to help you deal with your kids in a positive way to try to reset the situation, or at least try to get things back on track. So the whole point of this is just the interesting way you evolve in this process. I've seen that a lot in the comments where people who have been with the channel for a while, or who are just farther along, who found the channel and are participating, and you can tell that they've gone through the early stages of this stuff, but they've been able to move past it. They've been able to find a way to survive in their environment in a positive way, to start to rebuild the situation with their kids, or if they don't have their kids, just to rebuild their lives. And that's really empowering to see. And I think it's really important for people to realize that there really is an opportunity to grow from this and to get better. And the other thing I'll say from talking to a bunch of different people, and it sounds weird, is most people, as they start to grow on this, are actually grateful for the situation. And a lot of them feel really weird about it, because it's like the most painful, brutal thing you've ever been through. And you would think, why in the world would you be grateful for this? Why would you be grateful for this horrible experience? And the simple reason is what happens is it causes you to reevaluate every aspect of your life. And it causes you to grow in such a way that once you get to the other side of it, you're like, wow, my life is so much better as a result of this catastrophe, that it's really kind of a blessing. And I know anybody in the early stages of this is going to be like, are you out of your mind? This is horrible. But it's really bizarre, because what happens is it changes your priorities, it changes your perspective, it changes your view on things of what's important. And you really take control of your life. It's like you realize that your life has been controlled by so many other external factors that you basically willingly gave away. And it's like you get to a point, well, it's like you you get to a point where everything switches. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to allow that in my life anymore. I'm not going to worry about, these other things. Like for me, I mean, I still have money issues because of this, And it's like I spent so much time just stressed and sick, wondering what's my future going to be like? How am I going to make ends meet? And there's still some concern with that. I mean, I obviously just can't, throw caution to the wind and buy whatever I want. Man, wouldn't that be nice? But I've been able to deal with it to where I understand how to keep my situation stable. I realize that I'm going to basically be treading water for a couple more years until my next child drops off. My first child's dropped off, so things are a little bit better, but I'm still in catch up. And I realize that even with my second child, it's still going to take me some more time after that to really recover and start to rebuild. But the difference is that instead of worrying about that, this is just an example. But instead of worrying about that, I'm like looking for ways to enjoy life and to be happy. And it's a really bizarre situation, because I can remember not that long ago, we're driving to work every day and just sitting at my office. I felt like this sense of dread. It was like this weight of the world on me. And I don't have that anymore. And not that much has changed in my situation, but it's like I just enjoy it. Like even right now, just sitting here, it's quiet. There's a little calm breeze flowing through. It's a little brighter than I would like, but it's just like, it just feels good, right? And I think every one of you has the capacity and the capability to find that inner peace in your own life, to where you start to, the benefit that you get from a lot of this is just that you feel good. And instead of worrying about what's going on with the ex or what they're doing or what they're not doing or what they're getting away with, and I could run down this laundry list of things that I would have every right to be frustrated with. And I used to be. And it's not worth my energy anymore to focus on that. I would rather focus on positive things. I would rather focus on just the joy or the happiness that I have or the peace I have, like at this moment right now. And to think about other things I'd like to do. Like that channel I recommended the other day. I mean, just every time I watch that guy's channel, he posted a video earlier today where he answered one of my questions actually in a Q&A video. And it just made me smile, like listening to his story and just, you know, I mean, the guy's passionate about what he does. And it's a reminder that there is good out there, there is joy out there, there is beauty out there. And it's hard to see. It's really hard to see in the midst of all this. And once you finally break free from the chaos and the torture and the emotional abuse, and you start rebuilding the life that you really want, it's really an amazing thing. Okay, I'm gonna shut this video down. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. I haven't said that in a while. If you like the channel, please subscribe. I can't believe I broke 5,000. If you want to add into the discussion on things that make you happy and things that are helping you to kind of regain yourself, put that in the comments below, and I will chat with you in the next video. Take care.